Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 1 of season 3 of The Boys. And it's been quite a wait for this. In the meantime, we've had Diabolical, the animated series, and it's just been getting more and more hype over this series in the meantime. Because between Invincible and this, Amazon is really hitting that market on the adult-oriented, batshit insane superhero type of show. And now we get into season 3, which has one of the biggest moments from the comics, from what I've heard, called Hero-gasm. Apparently, I don't know all the details about this, but apparently it's like one of the biggest moments in the comics. Like, I can imagine, based on what it's called, the specifics, but I don't want to. I'll just end up seeing when it comes to that. Now, last we left off, Becca was killed during the fight with Nazi Bitch and Homelander. She ended up accidentally getting hurt by her own son. And so all the efforts, all the work that was put into saving her and finding her in the first place is gone now. And you know this is not going to have good repercussions with Butcher. He's going to do what she asked him to do. He's going to protect their child. Well, her and Homelander's child, but you know what I mean. And at the same time, he's also going to be driven to more extreme measures because it's Butcher, and unfortunately, that's losing his wife again like this is not going to affect him well. And Homelander himself is also on the verge of snapping. Just one bad day and he will go full supervillain. But he's been inching closer and closer to that for a while now. So we'll just have to see exactly how that goes down. AOC is blowing minds, and not in a good way. We had that, and at the end we see that Huey is going to be working for her campaign. So that's interesting. But the thing that's most exciting for this season for me is Soldier Boy. Because, yeah, I'm a fan of Supernatural, and Jensen Ackles definitely was my favorite on there. So combine those two, and yeah, definite hype. But in all seriousness, like, Soldier Boy, I don't know much of anything about the character other than he's been mentioned before in the series, and I think I've heard someone compare him to, like, Captain America, which, based on his name, doesn't surprise me. But I love Jensen Ackles as an actor. He's a great actor, and I think that this is definitely a character he'll be able to pull off extremely well. I saw I saw this little clip that they released of, like, Soldier Boy doing not an interview, but, like, basically a drug PSA. And except it was like a behind the scenes thing, and the entire time he's just, like, bitching to them. It's like, I don't want to say this. If drugs are uncool, I'm the least cool person here. Shit like that. And it's just like he's dropping all these F-bombs and shit, as you would expect. And it's just interesting to see him like going all out for this role. Um, just compared to the other stuff I know him for, stuff like Supernatural or even Under the Red Hood. Like he swore a little more in that, but not as much still. Um, but I'm definitely excited to see more of that. I'm excited to see more of the crew in general. Um, and yeah, we'll see how things go with the Nazi bitch taken care of for the moment. Um, Homelander just on the verge of blowing up. And all the other stuff that has been set up for the continuation of this. I did see the trailer as well. There's some interesting shots in there. Um, the biggest thing that I've going through my head with that is why does excuse me, excuse me, I apologize. Why in the trailer? And I only saw the first trailer, the one with the Imagine Dragons song. Why does Butcher have superpowers? Because it looks like he has the glowing eyes like Homelander. And then there's another part of the trailer where he pukes on Huey. I'm wondering if those two are connected. My theory, my theory is that this isn't real. That he doesn't really have superpowers. And that means it's one of two things in my eyes. Either it's some kind of dream sequence, which I feel is pretty possible. Some kind of really interesting dream sequence where he imagines, like, what if he had the powers and everything? What if he was a soup? Or it's not like real powers per se, but more of a temporary boost. Like, I've seen this done in different shows and movies and stuff here, where it's like it's a way to even the playing field temporarily. And it's like, okay, you basically have one chance to do this. If you fail, you're screwed. And the only thing I could see him doing that for would be to fight Homelander. But, I mean, I can't say. I don't know. I never read the comics, because I don't really read comics much at all. But those are the only two things I could think of. I think the first option, the dream sequence, funny enough, I think that's the more likely option. I think the second option, I don't know, it just feels like a stretch. It feels like a stretch to believe that Butcher would take something like that. Even with his grief over losing his wife again and everything, I don't know if Butcher would go there. With as much as he hates soups, I just don't know if he would actually do something like that. But I'm excited to find out, one way or the other. And yeah, with no idea where this is gonna go, hopefully I'm just impressed. So that being said, the first 3 episodes were released together, but I'm only recording number 1 for now. And even though all 3 were released together, you will still only be seeing 1 a week for now. If I get the opportunity or time to do more than 1, maybe I will, but I can't guarantee it, and I won't even try. Mainly because just with everything else on my plate at the moment as well, it's probably best to just hold back a little bit, you know? But But yeah, I wonder how they're gonna bring in Soldier Boy. Like, is he gonna be a replacement for the Nazi bitch? I guess that would make sense. It's just like a rotating door of superhero villains right now. Um, so we'll see how this goes. I'm very excited, as made very clear. So hopefully this is a good kickoff, just like other shows have been lately. I mean, between other shows that have debuted, like Obi-Wan and Stranger Things, um, excuse me. I'm hoping this can live up to those in terms of first episode quality, because both of those shows had their recent, with their recent releases, had some great first episodes. So I'm hoping this one follows suit. Either way, we're going to get this started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, it's fun getting to hear Karen Fukuhara sing in this. I really did not expect that. Although the trailer for this season does seem to have, like, what looks like a musical scene with her and Frenchie, so I guess there is that possibility. But, yeah, we got a little bit of Kimiko singing. And yeah, as usual, Karen Fukuhara has a great singing voice. Again, we've seen this in Kipo, and now we get to see it here. But let's actually talk about the bigger stuff that happened this episode. And as has been the case with previous boys stuff, with last season and all, I'll get to what I can. If I miss anything and you want to hear like my thoughts on, feel free to comment below, and I can clarify anything you need me to. But in terms of what we got here, so Homelander is on the verge of completely snapping. Everything is crumbling down around him. He's lost his son, and is trying to find him still again, but is completely shut off from that at the moment. On top of that, Starlight is being made co-captain of the Seven, so that's weighing on him a lot because, you know, he has an ego the size of fucking Texas, at least. And so it's like he's just... I mean, again, this has been building up for a while, and it's very clear he's been, like, one really bad day away from truly going rogue and starting to kill the shit out of people. Like, we saw it with A-Train in this. Just a milkshake kind of, like, made him, like, turn his attention to A-Train, and he decided to kind of take out some of his aggression on him. And just hearing, like, A-Train mutter, "fuck you," under his breath, just, it made him snap. He's not okay. Huey is a government dog. He's left the boys and is currently working for Congresswoman Newman, who by the end of this episode he finds out is a soup and is the one who makes things go explode. But yeah, it's really fitting for him, honestly. Like honestly, he fits in this kind of government job better than he ever did in The Boys. And he's not the only one who left The Boys either. Marvin, Mother's Milk, also left, and is kind of rekindling things with his family a bit. Obviously, like, you know, his ex has a new partner and everything, but he's getting to be in his daughter's life. And I think that's the best he could hope for. And Frenchie and Kimiko don't really have a huge, like, point to play in this. Kimiko has a couple of moments regarding this song, and that's about it. Like, she's learning to play the song herself. She has like this daydream about singing it, and this is clearly leading somewhere with her character, just don't know where yet. Maeve also only has a small part to play in this first episode, where she delivers the temporary compound V that is being created. V24, I think it was called. She's delivering that to Butcher to use in their plans to kill Homelander. But also to go after like this group who know about like Soldier Boy and everything, and so that's how they're bringing this all in. There's this group before the Seven, another hero group that was kind of just pushed out of the public eye, and apparently Soldier Boy died back in the 80s, but that's probably a cover-up. So yeah, because he's in the season, we know he is. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that storyline. And yeah, there's just a lot to cover, so I'm trying to make sure I get everything. Butcher goes to visit his son, and there's not too much to this scene, or not his son, but you know what I mean. His wife's and Homelander's son. And the scene is very sweet, and it shows that Butcher's actually really good at being a dad. Unfortunately, he's still got some hang-ups from it, and it's very clear he's not completely in. But then we get a little thing from Stan Edgar, and this one interested me because he's talking to Bobby, and he tells him in secret that he's planning on getting out of this game, that he's planning on getting out of the superhero business, and that he doesn't even like where it is and where it's gone, and he acknowledges that hiring Stormfront was bad. But this could all be a ploy. We don't know if he's being truthful here or not. And if he is, that's really interesting. But if he's not, what is he planning? You know? Like, there's just a lot that goes into all of this, really. The Deep had a biography come out. I'd say autobiography, but it was actually written by a ghostwriter, apparently. And Storm Chaser is still alive. Nazi Bitch is still alive, but she's in very bad condition in the hospital. Looking forward to the moments where she can just wank off Homelander while telling him about her plans for an Aryan race, which, again, I swear last season she didn't really go into that as heavily. And now all of a sudden she's like winging off and talking like, oh, things will be perfect. You're like the perfect Aryan Ubermensch and shit. It's like, and even he's like, the fuck? It's like, I'm trying to get off here. you're ruining the mood. It's interesting. I will give it that. It is interesting. I wonder if she'll have a part to play in the future of this at all. It's like she will come back after healing and all. It's already been a year, though. That's a big thing. It's been a year since the events of season 2. And so, like, you're seeing, like, how slow she's been recovering, if she even is really recovering. So, who knows how long it would take her. I mean, granted, she's practically immortal, so she doesn't have to worry about that as much, but I don't know. I just kind of wish she had died, you know? Geez, my hair really is not cooperating. Those, like, few strands keep popping out, and I don't know why. But either way, this was a pretty damn good start. And definitely sets things up for the future with the temporary compound V, which I'm still shocked I was right about. I'm still shocked I called that. It's the only thing that kind of made sense to me. Well, that and my other, guess, my other prediction on that level. I just couldn't see it really being too much else besides those two things. And I thought it was the first option more so. So I thought it was going to be more of a dream sequence, but no, it was real. I called it without really even thinking I had any shots at calling it, but I did. And then there was the part with Termite, I guess his name is. We finally get to know about this guy who turned really little in like the first episode of the series and jumped into a woman's vagina in that club that Butcher took Huey to. And now we get to see him doing the same with this guy. And he unfortunately sneezes from the cocaine and shit and expands while inside his dick hole. Blows up his entire lower half. And it's like, that would be fucking traumatizing as shit. Like, for a lot of reasons. Like, how do you even begin to go talking about something like that? You're in, like, your lover's dick hole, and then you expand and blow him the shit up. You just... I don't even know anymore. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of the things that happened in this episode. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.